I first joined the Circus of Horrors 4 years ago, but that doesn't mean I haven't seen them before, I haven't met them before. I actually met the Circus of Horrors 14 years ago by now, back in my hometown in Munich. Back in Munich, I was working as a tax inspector and I became a huge fan of the show. I went to see the show pretty much every night, and then I decided at some stage I want to be part of that. I saw the Circus of Horrors again 10 years later in London at the Hackney Empire. I got to talk to a good old friend of mine, Dr. Hayes, and another good old friend of mine, Captain Dan. And shortly after, I've been part of the show. We came to Edinburgh to perform with the Circus of Horrors, obviously, on the Fringe Festival on the Meadows, and then we decided to go for a big publicity stunt. That publicity stunt I have never done before in my life. I have never pulled anything as heavy as a van, so it was a very intense experience. A body suspension means your own body being lifted in the air by meat hooks which have been pierced through your skin. And in the show I perform a two-hook suspension, meaning I get lifted up, only held by hooks through my skin, about 30 foot in the air. I have done various suspensions before I attempted the drug pull, and looking back I have to say a suspension compared to the drug pull is absolutely nothing. It's a piece of cake compared to the drug pull. There are a lot of different suspensions. One is called the Superman, where you hang horizontally, suspended from 6 to 12 meat hooks. I personally do a two-hook suspension, which is called a suicide, which is done by only two meat hooks through the skin and your shoulder blades. And this suspension is relatively hard to do because all your skin is distributed on only 2 points. I have attempted a drug pull before, but I haven't pulled the drug as far and not in as a shorter time, and I haven't had all the pressure from a big crowd watching me while I was doing it. The conditions on that day on Princess Street weren't very good at all. When I was about to start pulling the drug, it started to rain very, very heavy, which isn't very helpful because everything gets very slippery, and last thing you want to do is slip. And as well, we had a lot of crowds running before me, so I couldn't really see where I was going. There was a lot of noise from people shouting. It was very intense, but definitely not the best conditions for it. When I pulled the van in Edinburgh, there were other vehicles still driving on Princess Street, so it was a big chaos, and a lot of vehicles had to be stopped to make sure they don't get in my way. And the best moment was when I just stopped pulling the van. I got to stop just next to a car which was about to get a parking ticket. Princess Street in Edinburgh is one of the biggest streets. It's a big high street, very, very busy, full of cars, full of people, full of street performers on that day. And it was a massive crowd ended up watching the stunt, and it was a brilliant atmosphere. When we did the stunt, we were a bit concerned that the police might stop me from doing it, so we just turned up on the day, on the place, with a big crowd of photographers, press, and I think 5 TV channels filming it. And yeah, we just set up and went for it. I ended up pulling the van 107 meters. When I first performed the stunt, Guinness didn't know I was doing it. They weren't aware of the stunt. After the Guinness people have seen all the media coverage and newspapers, they contacted us and asked if they could use it as a new record. Dr. Hayes has been working with Guinness before, and the show holds, I think, about 15 records. So when Guinness saw the footage, they accepted it straight away. I have no other Guinness World Records, but I did a big publicity stunt for Ripley's Believe It or Not. On National Sword Swallowers Day, I swallowed a sword upside down, meaning I was suspended by my feet and I was lowered onto a sword, which I believe has not been seen before.